Hi, everyone. Welcome to John's Briefs again today with Tim Forshee, defense attorney extraordinaire, former judge pro tem, and criminal defense attorney who is the guy I would call. You should get your NFA trust from him too.
Thanks, buddy.
We had an interesting one on the channel not long ago. Man, I'm going to tell you, if this one was in Tallahassee, it wouldn't have surprised me.
I was going to say, not in Florida.
Not in Florida.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis,
Yeah.
right? Indianapolis and Midwest Nice failed, and I want to talk about this one with the attorney. To win the fight after the fight, you need help. After a use of force, I trust Firearms Legal Protection to help me win the fight for the rest of my life. From their 24/7 attorney-answered hotline to coverage for the use of all legal tools, Firearms Legal Protection has you covered. Get a discount by signing up at the link below. There's a lot of backstory on this one that I don't have the videos on, even though I'm sure that there's surveillance video and we can see another guy recording on his cell phone. I'm sure the cops have all that, but it's not been put anywhere in the wild. What has happened here is the silver car that is in the middle of the screen right now is piloted by a woman, and she's sitting at a disabled pump at this gas station. It's not working. This guy pulls in a big pickup truck behind her with a big trailer behind it, honks at her, so she moves forward, and they have some kind of a verbal altercation. Like they kind of hemmed and hawed at each other and hollered at each other, do we got a problem here? At some point in that argument, now she had a firearm in her, what she said was in her pocket and in a holster. And he kind of ran at her aggressively, again, according to her. Then, as he did run at her aggressively, she drew the firearm and pointed it at the ground, at which point he said, "Oh yeah, I got a bigger gun than that," goes back to his truck and gets a firearm of his own. Now, I'm not sure how much time has passed between that and this cell phone footage that we're going to see, but it's a doozy. Let's listen in.
He got a gun on her right now.
Hey, bro!
Hey! Hey! Hey, man!
Hey,
Don't do that, man! Get off her, man!
He's gonna wrestle and pop her. I beat the fuck, bro.
Hey, get that shit on camera.
Bro, I'm on, bro. I want to see it from my mama. Come on now.
Hey, get your motherfucking hands off her! Hey, get that motherfucking pistol off her!
This guy's tripping. I just leave. Hey, I got you.
Hold on, baby! Hold on!
They're right. Hey, they're on their way, sis. I don't know why you're pointing your gun like you're a cop or something.
Sister, pull on!
You put your hands on a woman. You do that shit to a man, motherfucker, take that gun.
Hey, get in your car, brother! Hey, get in your car!
Take that motherfucker, you point that bitch at me.
Get in your car!
That's what I was going to tell. Hey, quit pointing that gun at me, bro. Point it to the ground, bro. Hey, I ain't gonna tell you again, bro. Quit pointing that gun at me. Pointing it at the ground, bro. I ain't gonna tell you again, bro. Pointing it at the ground, I'll take it out of your hands. Quit pointing it at me, I'll take it out your fucking hands, bro. Straight up. I'm going inside. I got enough video for me. I'm going inside. My best friend got killed for that shit. I'm cool.
Come up here, gang.
Yeah, y'all see this whack ass shit?
Cops showed up and arrested him. He has been charged, this man has been charged with 6 felonies, including at least 1 Class 3 felony. If he's convicted on those, they're gonna put him in prison for a long time. I did see one screenshot from the other bystander's cell phone video, and you can see in that video that the man has his gun out and pointed at her. She has a gun out and pointed at the ground. When the cops showed up, according to the news stories that I've linked in the description, the man did verify that she never pointed the gun at him, though it sounds like maybe she did draw her firearm first, but he's the one that's facing charges and she is not. And the news stories, I can't tell you how accurate they are. You go dig through them, you'll find that they said that he had a Smith & Wesson Springfield 10mm. So obviously, not very accurate from that perspective. And the latest that I have is they're supposed to have some kind of judicial conference, maybe a plea agreeing conference on April 14th. So this one's still in process. All right, I'm gonna start this one with a fun story. You guys have seen the incident now, you've seen it on the channel. The last time probably the closest I have been in the last one of the closest times I've been to a gunfight in the last 5 years was in Indianapolis, Indiana. As crazy as that sounds, during the NRA annual meeting.
I grew up, that's the airport I always flew out of. I grew up in extremely eastern Illinois, and it was closer to go to the airport in Indianapolis than any airport in Illinois. So I spent a lot of time in Indianapolis. My grandparents were there. Surprisingly violent town, actually, with a lot of racial issues.
We were downtown in Indianapolis on Friday night after the NRA annual meetings. We went to dinner with some friends at a very nice restaurant. And we stepped outside. It was me, Neil, Stephanie, Mike Williver, and my middle child, Sympathy. And we stepped outside, and all of a sudden, like, that downtown had been taken over by a whole bunch of miscreants and ne'er-do-wells.
Miscreants and ne'er-do-wells.
Yes, scofflaws, as it were. It was like a big, and I don't know if you've ever had this in your life, when you step into somewhere and you can just feel the energy. It's like electricity.
Yep.
And I looked around and I was like, you put a finger in the air and you're like, oh, we're in trouble.
Can we have the Uber pull right up to the door?
Well, we were only about 3 blocks from our hotel, and we had walked.
I was going to say, I'll Uber 3 blocks in this situation.
We should have. And I told Sympathy, I was like, okay, you are in the middle of the diamond. Neil, you are point man. We are diamond around her in executive protection.
Damn good group of people to surround her.
And we are goose stepping. Let's go. Forward march.
Yeah.
And we hauled butt all the way back to the hotel, and then we were fine. But it was,
and ironically, they're for the NRA conference.
Yeah, they're for the NRA annual meeting. So that was an interesting one. But in this case, okay, there was a lot of stupid in this one.
Oh my God, a lot of stupid. And I kept thinking we were going to see it get killed, and we didn't. Thank goodness, nobody got shot.
Nobody got
I was
shot.
Expecting it, man.
And so some people have argued in the comments, and again, I don't mind people disagreeing with me in the comments, okay? So I say this all the time. The funny part is that just because you're an expert at something, and yes, I'm a court-admitted expert in self-defense and use of force and firearms, okay? It doesn't mean I'm always right.
Right.
I mean, just because you're an expert at something doesn't bless you with infallibility.
Make sure my wife doesn't see this.
Yeah, right, yeah. But it gives a gravitas to your opinions.
Sure.
But some people are like, well, she pointed a gun at him first. And I said, do you know why she pointed a gun at him? And the answer is, well, no. Well, no. Well, then you don't know what was going on there. And then he's pointing a gun at her. She doesn't have a gun in her hand. And somebody is recording this. Now, I'm not even talking about the cell phone recordings. I'm sure the surveillance of the gas station has all this, the entirety of it. And at the end of things, the cops arrested him.
Yeah.
And so at some level, I'm going to say probably the police sussed out everything else that was going on and said she probably had justification to pull a gun on him. He didn't have justification to pull it back. And so he's the one we're going to send up the river.
We don't know what prompted her drawing that gun. I don't know.
Nope.
I watched the video twice, and I don't know why she drew that gun. Apparently, people that were there on the ground decided that it was not illegal, arguably not inappropriate for her to draw the gun. I don't know. Maybe they just decided he was a bigger a-hole than she was. I don't know which it was.
Well, even more, like a lot of the times then if she drew the gun but by the time somebody else sees it and she put the gun away, he's got the gun out, she doesn't have a gun, and then they're like, oh, I got to get my phone out and start videotaping. So what we get released on social media isn't the whole story.
Yeah, right.
And you got to expect that. You're like, well, this was wrong.
I looked at, as I'm watching this, I remember I asked myself, and it's been a while since I watched this, but I remember asking myself, okay, if I had the vantage point that these witnesses have, first of all, instead of pulling out my cell phone, I'm going to pull out my weapon and look for a position of cover and then decide whether I'm going to intervene. And that would have been a tough one here. When that guy is...
Yeah, screwing a gun into her ear.
Yeah, screwing a gun into her ear. That's not any kind of a self-defense concept. That is I saw this in a movie and I'm a gangster and I'm going to blow this woman away. That was, if I had a clear angle of fire on that and I was, 20 yards away, 25 yards away, 15 yards away, would I have engaged? I'm afraid to say I might have.
And this is one of those reasons that I say that because you don't know the whole situation.
You're guessing big time.
You're now, in most states, Arizona is certainly one of them. In almost in every state now, I think Ohio has even changed this. It's your reasonable belief, right? That so if you made a mistake of fact, but you shot this guy, if it was a reasonable mistake of fact, you probably are justified legally. Probably.
But morally. Yeah, you have to live with this.
And do you know the whole situation, the whole story? Do you know why it went down the way it did?
Yeah.
No. So why do you get involved?
I always to me, it makes sense. It's just really simple. I always say, you know what? You missed the first 45 minutes of the movie.
Right.
Now you plop down in your seat and tell me what's going on. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're not. Maybe the screenwriters are smarter than you are. I don't know. But that's just it. You missed the first part of the movie. So, deciding that you're willing to commit a maybe perhaps the most serious act that a human being can possibly commit, use of lethal force. Boy, I hope you know all the facts. And I didn't know all the facts, but I'm still saying, this guy's going to murder this woman.
Obviously a vastly different story if that's your wife.
Yeah.
Because, you go,
now I know what's going on.
That's my wife. Now I know what's going on. I got to defend my wife. Unless you go, nah, my wife always gets herself into crazy stuff. That woman probably earned it and deserved it.
You're still going to intervene, I think.
You're still going to intervene.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, you did see the beginning of the movie.
Right. Then you saw the beginning of the movie.
Let me put you on the spot. If you had a position of cover and would you have shot that guy? Because I think when he's screwing the gun into her ear, I'm thinking, this guy is going to murder this woman. If I stand here and let this happen, I'll never be able to sleep again.
So if I come out of that liquor store, and listen, I mean, my advice to you is don't get involved. My advice to you is don't take this ride.
Yep.
My upbringing and the way the values that my parents instilled in me, the values that my grandpa especially instilled in me, part of that is protecting the defenseless, and that includes women.
You're a sheepdog, brother. Yeah.
I'd struggle not to.
So you're kind of going through the same thing I was. Just that internal struggle of, I know I've lectured, I've coached, I've represented people in cases where I said, why did you intervene? Why didn't you just mind your own business? But you see something like this, and if you can just kind of put yourself, pretend this isn't a movie that I'm watching, pretend that I'm actually standing there filming this thing. That would have been a tough one.
Yeah. Now, I think hopefully, if I'm on my game, I maybe issue commands. Hey man, drop it. Hopefully maybe, because I'm faster than he is. And
you also just made yourself a target.
And I just made myself a target. So
I don't know.
This is bad news all the way around. I will say the idiots filming on their cell phones should find better things to do with their life.
That's what I can't imagine in our society now, is everybody's just going to grab the phone. Go help her or get to a place of safety. Mm-hmm. Standing right there within easy pistol range and filming this thing. I mean, you're placing your own, notoriety or something you're going to post on your Instagram is more important than your own safety. I just can't grasp that. But
another one we didn't talk about a lot on the big channel on this one is this lady, at some point, he's not screwing the gun into her ear. He's a few feet away from her, pointing a gun at her. Get in your car, woman, and leave.
Drive, exactly. Drive.
So jump in your car, get on the phone with 911.
That's okay, drive away.
Right. Get on the phone with 911. This guy's chasing me. He's got a big trailer. He's pointing a gun at me. I need help. Yep. Here's where I am, okay? We're on our way to get you. Cool, I see the reds and blues. I'm gonna stop with 100 cops around and we'll figure it out.
And he's pulling a trailer. He's not gonna chase you fast enough. You can easily get away from that guy, so yeah.
And again, because what's your mission as a private citizen? Break contact with threats. Just remember, your mission as a private citizen is not to teach someone a lesson. It's to break contact with threats.
Be safe.
And if you can do that, do it.
Yep.
So there's the other side of this too. If I take my own dang advice and I see this, oh gosh, there's a deadly threat here. My advice is to break contact with that threat for the sake of my
family.
family.
And the other thing too is, the thing I guess I didn't really understand at the end of the day is that there's two people here, each pointing guns at each other at one point. How come neither of them shot? And I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad nobody died. But what are you doing threatening with a gun unless you're in fear for your life? And if you're in fear for your life, why are you only pointing the gun?
Don't use guns as intimidation tools.
Everything about it, it's just. I mean, you said it in the interview on the channel. It's like it was just two stupids meeting each other. And I always think of Ron White. You can't cure stupid.
Right.
You can.
You tamp it down a little bit.
It's called death. It cures it, I guess, but it's a harsh one.
Yeah. Yeah. Silence is golden, but duct tape is silver. Right.
What do you want to bet? That these people, if they weren't from Florida, they visited Florida a lot. What do you want to bet?
Oh yeah, well, there's a good chance, right? Or Oklahoma.
Oh, that's another one.
Tigers and meth.
Let's be honest, Arizona. We got plenty of our share of stupid here.
Ooh, boy, do we. The desert cooks people's brains. Exactly. It's true. So be smart, everyone. Avoid these problems if you can. Don't be the guy filming it. Get away from that. If somebody points a gun at you and you can get away from them, get in the car and run.
Yep.
Like heck. And listen, even if, oh my God, she pulled a gun on me, so I'm going to get my gun and point it at her. She put that gun away. You get in your car and get the hell out of there rather than sit there with a gun pointed at her, because otherwise you end up with charges.
Amen.